5 reasons I should bootstrap my startup. One of the most successful companies I've worked with, Genomics, started with an initial investment of just $80,000. They then bootstrapped themselves from there to a $100 million exit. Not bad. My point is this: you don't have to raise venture capital to have a successful startup. In fact, you might be better off not raising venture capital. And that's what today's video is all about. I'll share with you the 5 reasons you might be better off bootstrapping instead of raising venture capital funding. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. Before we go through our reasons, I want to make sure that you understand this key point. Every startup, every single one, has investors. But not if we bootstrap, you say. Well, that's just not true. Let me explain why. Even if you want to raise venture capital, you will start out bootstrapping. In other words, some combination of you, your co-founders, your friends, and your family will be the initial investors in your company. And guess what? You'd better be in alignment with your investors. Alignment means that you and your investors share the same vision and goals for the company. It means your friends and family understand how much money your company will need. And they understand how you will pay them back. Finally, they understand when you will pay them back. This leads to number 1 on our list. Number 1, you have no choice but to bootstrap. I would say that 99.9% of all companies have no choice but to bootstrap when they start out. This is true even for a capital-intensive company like the one I built, because it takes time to raise funding. We bootstrapped for 2 years while we searched for the venture funding we needed. I can guarantee you, you will be in a similar situation. The reality is that 99% of all startups are not venture fundable for various reasons. Let me go through a few of them for you. First, your company might be in a segment that isn't exciting to investors. Second, your company might not be growing fast enough for investors to be exciting for them to invest in. Third, the valuation potential of your company isn't high enough to give investors the returns they need. For example, early stage VCs and angel investors expect a 10x to 30x return on their money. If your startup doesn't have that potential, then it's going to be virtually impossible for you to raise funding. This doesn't mean your company is a bad company if you fall into one or more of these buckets. Indeed, Genomics was in a market segment that just wasn't interesting to VCs, but they had a $100 million exit. So the reality is that you're going to be stuck bootstrapping for a while. This leads to my second point. Number 2, you learn the value of money. There's an old saying that VCs have about startups. It goes like this: if you give a startup $1 million, they'll find a way to spend it. If you give the same startup $10 million, they'll find a way to spend that too. The point is that too many venture-backed startups are undisciplined. They spend their money too quickly because they think that the money will keep coming forever. And the reality is that your next round of funding is never guaranteed. Indeed, 50% of all companies cannot get funded for the next round of funding. You don't have the luxury of thinking this way when you're bootstrapping. You have to watch every penny you spend from the start. You have to be efficient with your money or you'll go out of business fast. This mindset leads you to be what I call appropriately frugal, which means you spend money on the important things and you save money everywhere else. Next is number 3 on our list. Number 3, you keep 100% control. Too many entrepreneurs believe that as long as they own more than 50% of their company, they maintain control of their company, and that's dead wrong. The reality is that the second you raise funding from VCs, you have lost control of your company. I don't mean that your investors have the ability to fire you when you still have voting control. I do mean that you need your investors' support to raise your next round of funding. And if your investors don't like you, they can withhold their support and force you out. A great example of this is what happened to Uber's founding CEO, Travis Kalanick. Even though Kalanick had voting control of Uber stock, his investors forced him to resign as CEO as a condition of the next round of funding. The beauty, in contrast, of bootstrapping is you have no outside investors that can screw around with your company. And one more insight. It's a myth that investors will provide assistance helping you run your company. Yes, there are a few really good investors that do provide excellent help and guidance. However, I would say that over 90% of all investors are neutral to negative. So you're not missing out on anything. Next, we go to number 4 on our list. Number 4, an exit is easier. You can sell anytime you want when you're bootstrapping. It's really just up to you on when you want to pull the trigger on an exit. However, the world is a lot different if you're venture-backed. For example, let's say you raise $30 million in 3 rounds of funding. You and your co-founders are diluted to 46% ownership in this example, let's say. Your investors who own 54% of your company are not going to want to sell the company for $100 million, as in the Gateway example. That would be just $54 million on a $30 million investment. Your investors are going to want a lot more than that. And this leads us to the last point, number 5 on our list. Number 5, you'll likely make more money bootstrapping. Let's go through some math using Gateway's $100 million exit as an example. Because the company took no external funding, the initial investors owned around 80% of the company at the time of their acquisition. 20% of the equity went to the employees, so the founders split $80 million. An exit that investors would have blocked is a life-changing result if you don't have investors. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. I would recommend only trying to raise money from VCs if you're going for a $1 billion exit or more. Seriously, the hassle of trying to raise money from VCs isn't likely worth it. But if you do decide to raise VC funding, remember that the bar is really high, really, really high. You're going to have to be at the top of your game with a dynamite pitch deck and pitch, and an A+ team of co-founders to get funding. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video, and it's yours for free. And for more great content, click on the video at the end of today's video. And if you haven't already, then click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.